Well, hello, friends. Glad you could join us. This time, the CCRL Elite Tier makes its way to beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, under the night sky, for what should be a fantastic race here at the Las Vegas Strip Circuit. And I say beautiful in all seriousness as well. Las Vegas, that Nevada area of the country, is so beautiful. Mountains all around. The mountains having snow on top of them, despite being 90 degrees in October. It's a fantastic place to be, nonetheless. We'll start you off here with our starting grid. It's DJ E flat on pole by about 0.3 of a second over Reimer. 0.7 back of pole is Johnny Damon starting in third. Between 4th and 5th of DWCJ and Sepulveda, it's only 5/1000ths of a second, not very far apart at all. Jabor rounding out the third row, about 9.5 back. And then it goes down a little further. Merck and Curveball within 1/1000th of a second of each other. 1.194 and 5 for 8th and 9th, for 7th and 8th on the grid. It's that of R. Manson in 9th. That's 1.29 off the pace. Owa, 1.4. Charlie Golf, 2.5. Shiesty starting 12th, 1.7. Comacopa starting 13th, 1.9. Pontiac Bandit, Onyote, and Bong It rounding out the 14th, 15th, and 16th starting position. This track, well, let me tell you something. You may have your reservations and your doubts about this circuit and all that it entails, and I would understand you for feeling that way. This track is not the best for genuine racing, as, you know, some of your Silverstones and your, your Suzukas and your Hungaries may be. But let me tell you this, in this day and age of Formula One, when you have to, throw everything at DRS racing, this track does a pretty damn good job at it. Let me just say that. We're coming up here in about a month time as well, the real-life second ever Grand Prix, and this will be the third or fourth race I've casted of a league that comes to this track. And let me just tell you something. I have been impressed every time I watch this circuit in action, whether both virtually and in real life. Let's take you through this circuit as well. Into the first couple of corners here, the Harbor Island Apartments off the start-finish line. It's a very interesting first corner because it's at the beginning of it, it's very tight, but it does kind of widen out, but the drivers don't know that until they're already through the corner. So that's through turns 1 and 2. That transition from turns 2 to turn 3 and 4, the Rochelle Avenue intersection, not a lot of grip there, and it does get very narrow, and that wall on the outside creeps up on you very heavily. Coming out of turn 4 and down Koval Lane. That'll be the first of the 2 DRS sections here. Going down Koval Lane, Caesars Forum, the right-hander at turn 5, heading up through Westchester Drive, 6, 7, and 8, in towards the Sphere. It's such a beautiful sight, that as well. Into the monorail, turn 9, down Sands Avenue, heading through 10 and 11 by the Win, and then heading into turn 12. I like to refer to it as Treasure Island. Coming out of Treasure Island and then down the strip you go. You go past Harrah's, you go past the Mirage, past Flamingo, past Caesars Palace, past the Bellagio Fountains. I mean, you drive down this in real life, it's such a beautiful part of the country. It just seriously, the sights, the sounds, everything. How do the drivers not get distracted going down this section of the track? I'll never know. But going down the strip, heading in towards Planet Hollywood, turns 14, 15, and 16 is a tight couple of corners this at the end of the very long Las Vegas Boulevard Strip DRS section. That will be fun. Heading up then Harmon Avenue, and then for the final corner at Topgolf, turn 17, and down across the start-finish straight. That's what your lap of this circuit would look like. But let me tell you, it's not going to really look as simple as that potentially when we get into the race. It should be a relatively short race, this one, if all goes according to plan. I mean, the fastest time in qualifying was that of a 1:31.055, obviously set by DJ E Flat. But you have to think as well, only, 25 laps of this Grand Prix I think we're scheduled for today? Long lap, not a lot of laps. Any safety car or virtual safety car stoppage to this Grand Prix will matter a lot to these drivers on the grid, and I can't wait to see who will take the advantage. What's interesting to me is that we do have, of course, DJ E Flat on pole. We've got Reimer second. This is a track where less downforce the better. Reimer, a driver that likes more downforce. Of course, there are a couple of parts of this track where it's more useful. Obviously, the Sphere corner, heading down through Sands Avenue, and then obviously the kind of kink at the end with Cosmopolitan, Planet Hollywood, and then up Harmon Avenue. That's all possible, but every other part of this track is on a straight. So how Reimer has gone second is very surprising to me. But what won't be surprising is that this is going to be a fantastic Grand Prix. The lights are on, and they are off. Let's see who gets off the line first. DJ E-Flat, I think, has actually cleared Reimer. They look to the inside. They're going to be side by side on the way in. DJ E-Flat around the outside through the first corner. Will he be able to stay ahead? Reimer's going to tuck in front of DJ E-Flat, and already we got a virtual safety car here. Someone has gone off at the back. Several drivers picking up penalties now. Tenors for Merck, Pontiac Bandit, Charlie Golf, and Comacopa. Something has gone drastically wrong there towards the back end of the grid, and I'm wondering if there's any front wing missing. Yeah, we've got a couple of cars with some damage. Little surprised there's no immediate safety car here because we've got at least 4 or 5 cars missing some carbon fiber. That being what appears to be Merck, Pontiac Bandit, Charlie Golf missing the entirety of this front wing, R. Manson missing the end plate on the left front side. I think maybe even some off the front of the Ferrari of Bong It. Maybe. No, not quite. Maybe I'm wrong. Comacopa, though, missing some as well. So, first lap of the Grand Prix really will be a majority under virtual safety car, although we are back to green flag racing. Reimer leads them down Sands Avenue, heading in towards Treasure Island, turn number 12. Down the Las Vegas Boulevard they go. Reimer will have to hope that DJ E-Flat does not have the pace behind him. Of course, no DRS activated for the time being. They will be having that eventually next time by. Bong It seems to have gone around exiting Treasure Island. Jabor getting around DWCJ. Bit of an uphill section just then. Just a slight bump in the road as they make their way in. Johnny Damon's gone quite wide through Planet Hollywood then. And as they make their way up Harmon Avenue, it does appear that Reimer does have the advantage. DWCJ and Jabor side by side trying to make their way through turn 17 at Top Golf there on the outside. Down across the line and heading into the first corner they go. Neck and neck. DWCJ still to the inside, what I believe also on the medium tire. Speaking of tires, it's only Merck, Charlie Golf, and Comacopa who have gone hard for this occasion. Everybody else remains at medium. Down Koval Lane they go, heading towards Caesars Forum, turn 5. DJ E-Flat does have DRS behind. Not quite going to be close enough to that of Reimer. This first DRS section here in that 5th corner is more reminiscent of a Singapore ending to a DRS straight. There's not enough room to really make a move happen there. But I think as we go through the sphere, of course, we're not really going to see many things happen through here either. Maybe the occasional spin here and there, but the grid already starting to get slightly spread out, as you can see. We got a couple of cars still on track, 4 of which have seemed to have pit. Reimer's only got a 0.3 of a second advantage making his way through Sands Avenue and in towards Treasure Island. As they exit the corner, we're assuming DJ E-Flat is going to have a hell of an overtake here relatively shortly. It's not going to take very much to get around the car here. This is a very long DRS section, this. The cars are going to be hitting massive top speeds. Let's look at it now. 340 kilometers an hour or more. He's actually outpacing Reimer by nearly 20 kilometers an hour as DJ E-Flat to the lead of the Grand Prix. Already in here, that's about our second lead change already. It's Comacopa and, Owa and Curveball side by side. Look at Shiesty to the inside, trying to find his way around Curveball as well. Can't quite do it. A little bit of contact there, but nothing worth throwing the flag for. Reimer trying to find the outside of DJ E-Flat potentially. DJ, by the way, having the fastest lap for the time being. Johnny Damon, despite going a little bit off on that first lap, seems to have regained his composure and is now within striking distance of the 2 ahead. Let's see if the Sauber can make his way. DWCJ trying to get his way into the battle as well. Jabor is actually behind now by almost 2 seconds. I'm wondering what's gone wrong with the Williams to have dropped that much time in that little amount of time, if that makes any sense. DJ E-Flat heading into the sphere now. Does it have the... Oh, it does have the face. Oh, I didn't notice that. This is the first... well, I've said I've commentated leagues here before. This is the 4th time I've commentated a league race. Not specifically CCRL, but the 4th time I've commentated a league race here. The first time actually done so since this game is released. So that's a neat little touch that we've got the smiley face in there. That's fantastic. DJ E-Flat leads them out of Treasure Island. Down the strip they go. Reimer may actually be under pressure here from Johnny Damon. Reimer apparently either doesn't have DRS or is not using it. Johnny Damon as well, only just kind of now using it. Reimer has eventually opened his. And I think maybe what we were seeing is that is kind of a fuel-saving technique that we've said and that we've seen before. We saw that at Austria a little bit. Drivers were kind of doing that to save as much fuel as they could. Curveball getting around Shiesty. Looks like Merck's going to try to break around the outside. Merck's actually missing a bit of the front wing. Oh, has he been squeezed into the wall there? going through the Planet Hollywood corner. He very well could have been. Yeah, I'm not sure. That looked a bit sketchy to me, I'll be honest. Well, through the Rochelle Avenue intersection, heading down Koval Lane. Curveball, and who is that? Shiesty still battling it out there. Down Koval Lane they go. Reimer may have a look at DJE Flat here. I think Reimer may actually have to be more worried about Johnny Damon from behind, because Damon has DRS. He's also got DWCJ, who's going to be pressuring him, you know, and that's going to allow the Sauber to kind of strike as much as he can. We do have a yellow flag, and it looks as if Copa... No, something's happened here. Maybe potentially the McLaren? I don't know what exactly the call was as Manson... Oh, Manson's missing the entirety of his front wing. Well, that's only just happened. Not sure what's happened with our Manson, but he is missing some carbon fiber, as you can see. So out of Treasure Island they go. Heading down the strip. DWCJ bringing up the tail end of this train here, potentially. We'll see Reimer. Well, I tell you what, he's not really in too much of a hurry, Reimer, for the time being. Maybe are we already seeing some strategical play, as he's not really. I would have figured this is going to be a back-and-forth battle every single time we go down this straight here. Sepulveda getting around Jabor. We're figuring every time we go down the straight, we're going to see lead changes. That doesn't actually appear to be the case. These guys are playing it very calm and professionally for the time being. I think we're going to have plenty of time to go balls to the wall towards the later end of the Grand Prix, but realistically, DRS is so important here that you can't make any risks, you know, in losing it and potentially breaking a front wing, having to pit, or, you know, going off track. It's one of those things where you got to weigh the risks versus the rewards, and for the time being, risks definitely outweigh. You cannot make a mistake here. If you do, it will be punished, as Reimer gets way up against the back end of DJE Flat. Doesn't make any contact, I don't think, but getting close enough to allow the Aston Martin to know, hey, I'm there. Shiesty appears to be getting around Owa down Koval Lane. Don't really see overtakes be made here all too much. Again, I kind of find it more reminiscent of that turn 5 corner at Singapore, the right-hander before the straight. There's not enough room there. A lot of drivers will push wide to the outside wall, and hence why we don't see that. But DJE will lead them down Sands Avenue into Treasure Island. Let's see if Reimer can potentially get a good enough exit, because it's not like they're making any mistakes, Reimer or Johnny Damon or DWCJ. They're all pretty much dead even with DJE Flat here, but dead even is interesting because they're not choosing to find all that much of an advantage. You can see DRS still not activated. Of course, it appears they've moved DRS. Well, actually, that I didn't notice. What appears they've moved DRS significantly up than what it used to be. It's actually now gone past turn 13. It's what now in between the Mirage and Caesar's Palace. It used to be right exiting Treasure Island. I don't know if that's the change they've made in real life as well. If so, that is a huge difference to this circuit that we'll be seeing. Because remember, last year it used to be up at the back end of Treasure Island. I mean, we would be seeing that every time. Huh. It's a massive change, really. Does the official track map say that? As they look now, Reimer having a bit of a look to the inside of DJ Flat. Doesn't quite do it. Yeah, wow. Okay. That's absolutely the case. That DRS has been moved up quite a lot. Shiesty and Owa side by side, and I believe we do have a battle going on behind as well. Curveball and Merc. Curveball trying to find the outside of the Alpine here going through Caesar's Forum. It appears he's done well enough there to stay ahead. But the crew will make their way through Sands Avenue and in through Treasure Island. Oh, it appears there's going to be a Ferrari Challenge support race now. That's good news. Reimer, does he have a look on DJE Flat here? DRS activated going down the strip, and it does appear that DJ could be losing some spots now. He may lose at least 2, potentially 3 if DWCJ tries to dive, which he doesn't. I'm actually a little glad he didn't, because that would have been one hell of a late choice, that. Sepulveda does get around Jabor, it turns out. Merc and Curveball once more battling. DJE Flat to the inside of Johnny Damon through Topgolf, and now Johnny Damon, can he have a look to the inside of the Aston Martin? No, not quite, but DJE Flat's going to have a little bit of a lockup there. in towards Caesar's Forum, turn 5, and going through the sphere corners next. I think realistically, it's interesting because I think, as it appears, Pontiac Bandit and Coma Copa actually had a bit of a battle there going out of, what is that, Planet Hollywood. It's interesting because I think genuinely, there's not really... you can't look at any of these top 4 drivers. We have a yellow flag. I believe is it Coma Copa that's gone around. No, it's Bong It. I believe has collided with the barrier exiting turn 5. Either way, as I was going to say, you can look at these 4 drivers here and not really see that any of them have a significant advantage over the other. It's either going to be... Oh, I think as DJ Flat's gone quite wide then. A little surprised he's not actually hit the wall going through Planet Hollywood because he's... He took a lot of curb there. That looked as if he was going wide. Apparently not. 10th and a half the gap. Now another yellow flag. It looks as if Coma Copa potentially, or Bong has gone round. It is Coma Copa off at the sphere. Top 4 making their way onto Coball Lane now. Reimer has a 0.6 of a second advantage over DJ E Flat. Half a second now. Owa's actually just gotten around Merck side by side going through the first corner. Merck may potentially have a look to one of the sides of Owa. Doesn't really look as if he's in much trouble of getting around the Red Bull for the time being. Into the sphere corners they go. Reimer leads. A virtual safety car on track. Have we had... Someone must have gone off here. I think Bong It has been slowed. Yes, he is missing the front wing on his Ferrari. That appears to be the case. Several front wings being lost. I didn't expect that of this circuit. You know, albeit it is a street circuit. There is going to be front wings to be lost, but with how high speed it is, you have to think. I don't know. Of course, this is a street circuit again. It is lower grip than the other circuits we will see on calendar. You know, naturally, I mean, we play these games, we play these circuits, we think about Baku, mostly I do. That track in the recent couple of games has been absolute ice rinks of how just slippery they are. You can't hardly get the power down, even through, you know, 3rd and 4th gear. It appears Anyote has picked up a time penalty, or a drive-through penalty for speeding into the virtual safety car. Johnny Damon very close to having a look at DJE Flat here, but couldn't quite get it to go. DWCJ rather holding on behind here. Doesn't really look to be pressuring the 2 drivers ahead, but what's worrying me is how much energy store he has used. He's down to his last 30%, whereas the drivers ahead of him, 52, 95, 94. The DWCJ looks like maybe he's a little bit more desperate than the cars ahead to be able to hold on here. He's not really challenging Johnny Damon, as we have Owa, I believe, has gone round. Now, we had a yellow flag somewhere along the line, one of the Ferraris potentially. I think it may just be Bong It. No, Bong It has lost the front wing now, and now finds himself in the way of the leaders behind him, and now ahead of him. Making their way through Sands Avenue, heading in towards Treasure Island now. Reimer will lead them down the strip. I think for the time being, a little surprised that DJE Flat hasn't made any sort of attack. He will now. He's got a hefty portion of DRS and a lot of pace as well. Will look to the inside of Reimer. Lead changed for now. DJE Flat takes a lot of the curve on the inside there. I think that could open the door for Reimer. So you have another yellow flag. I believe Bong It's gone up again. Reimer into the pit lane. Bong It has gone deep and has lost. That's either a new front wing or an old one that he's lost. Reimer a tenner for speeding into the pit lane. That is a massive, massive moment then for Reimer to pick up a tenner. You know, you've been in such a close battle with the cars around you for the lead and for the win of the Grand Prix. You can't be making a mistake like that. That's huge. You see they're going through the corner. Shiesty had a bit of difficulty putting the power down. Of course, now they're, 9-lap old medium tires. I think for the purpose of being on this track, that is starting to get towards the back end of their life cycle. Nine-tenths of a second, Johnny Damon. Oh, hang on just a minute. DJ E-Flat has had a hell of a tank slapper coming out of Treasure Island, and he has lost the end plate on the left front side. Sorry, right front side. Carbon fiber is now missing from the Aston Martin in question. That is a huge moment. Will Johnny Damon be able to get around Flat here? Yes, he does. Relative ease as well. Question is now, does Jabor have a look on Sepulveda? Oh, Johnny Damon's gone off! Are you kidding me? The moment we look away from what's happened there... Oh, I tell you what, he's missing the right front tire. Has he hit the outside wall and then bounced across and hit the other one? Exiting turn, what would that be, 16? Oh, goodness me, that is such a huge moment. I'm just wondering, has he gaffed his line going through the corner? Let's see. Let's go along with... let's go along with Anyote here. I just want to see how he potentially could have done it. His right front tire was the one that was dislodged from the car. Maybe did he get loose off the curb, bounce, and then hit the other wall? I don't know. Normally, when we see drivers going through that corner, they would have at least hit maybe the right side on the entry there, but he was well far away from that section of the track. I have to believe he's made an error earlier in the corner. Oh! DJ E-Flat disqualified. Has he just gone past the safety car? He may have. That car is pulling off and is now nowhere to be found on the circuit. I don't know if this is a game error or what. We've got two key players out of this race now, and I am now actively checking Discord. Shiesty and DJ E-Flat not quite happy with each other, at least in the qualifying session. Johnny Damon appears to be admitting that mistake there. Doesn't appear anything has been given on the DJ E-Flat situation for the time being. This is a huge, huge development here, lads. I mean, we've got two. This is either just by me or something. And DJ E-Flat saying his AI overtook the safety car. Wow. That is just such a turn of events there. So now, I mean, we've got ourselves at least, well, pretty much everybody on the hards. We're going to have, albeit a couple of guys, having pit from pit to the mediums, considering that's where they started the race on the hards. Although I'm thinking maybe what we could see is the old, stay out a lap pit again. Because if you're Merc right now, right? If you're Merc right now, you've just stopped for the hard tires to the mediums, okay? You've fulfilled your mandatory, pit stop you have to make to a different compound. That's fine. I'm wondering now, potentially, do we see a driver like Merc go and pit again, put the hards back on, and then be on similar strategy with the car's head, because I think realistically, tire degradation is not the key factor here. It's going to be about downforce. It's going to be about straight line speed. And if Merc is a car which is, competitive in that category, I think he should absolutely go back to the hards here. He's 11th place. Worst comes to worst, he'll fall to 13th right now. I think it may just be a bit late, although Manson is still in the lead lap, so I'm thinking maybe will the safety car wait an additional lap to pick him up. He's making his way to the tail end of Sands Avenue now. He's coming to Treasure Island right here. I believe in that plaza in real life there's a Rainforest Cafe. I could be wrong. I think if you go that way... Yeah, so if you go this way, that right there in real life is a Fat Burger, and if you keep going down that way, there's a Hooters, and yeah... Not the point. Why do I know that? Because that was my father's birthday dinner when we took him to Vegas 2 years ago. It was amazing. We went to the NASCAR Xfinity race at Las Vegas the day before. Day after. Took him to Hooters for his birthday. Big old 60th birthday. You gotta do something special for that, haven't you? I miss this place so much, I really do. It's one of those things, it's like... If you can ignore the gambling and the prostitution and the bad decisions... It is truly a beautiful place. It really is. Even if you're not like me, say, I grew up in the rural areas of the United States. I'll be fair with you. I like going to the city. I think that's a fantastic place to be. It's different from what I have here. But then you go to this place and you realize Nevada is so beautiful as well, naturally. If you could get around the heat, and the desert conditions, and, it's a great place. Anyways, not the point. Point is this. 2 race-winning contenders are now out of the Grand Prix in both Johnny Damon and DJ E Flat. Reimer has a tenner for speeding into the pit lane. DWCJ, right now, is the driver who will be net leader of this Grand Prix. Because, by the way, Reimer... All credit to the lad. He's one of the quickest drivers I've ever seen. He's not putting 10 seconds behind to DWCJ. Not on this track. Maybe somewhere else. Maybe a mistake is made. Maybe he's just that much quicker. Las Vegas is not a track where you're going to get out to a 10-second advantage on a car ahead. You're just not. Or a car behind. Probably not going to happen. Down the strip they go. I have a feeling we're going to have safety car in this time. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Question is now, as the safety car finds its way in at the end of this lap, how long or how well will Reimer be able to hold on? Because I think realistically here, he's got 13 guys. Oh, as we have Charlie Gulf. Oh, that's a bit of a stack-up going in there to the corner. Yeah, we do. A little bit of a stack-up with a couple of these drivers. I don't really know what's happening there. But safety car making its way in. Reimer has, realistically, 13 guys behind him, plus Bongit. No offense, Bongit, but you are at least a lap down now. 13 drivers plus Bongit who could, realistically, find a way to win this Grand Prix if the opportunity is available. Reimer has to hold on and hope for the best and hope that his penalty doesn't get in the way too much for the time being. He's got to worry about DWCJ behind him. Jabor coming up next. Sepulveda behind him, and Shiesty looking good as well. I'm thinking right now, DWCJ and Jabor, 2 of the quicker drivers on track, minus that of Reimer, if we're expelling him from that scenario and from this conversation. I think it's got to be... I don't know. I think maybe Jabor has kind of looked more consistent. DWCJ, although in fairness to him, I haven't seen make too many mistakes either. But for the time being, as... Charlie Gulf has gone round. Yes, he has. Missing front wing as well. Well, that is coming out of Turn 5, exiting Koval Avenue through Caesars Forum and up Westchester Drive. Something has happened wrong with that McLaren. I think he's either gone round or he's had help from behind. I'm not rightly sure which. Down the strip they go. Reimer now has a 1.2-second advantage over DWCJ, although it is getting closer. And this is where I start to think that downforce disadvantage that Reimer tacks onto himself here might be able, might be more detrimental than initially thought about. Owa gets around Curveball, nice and easy. Sepulveda getting around Shiesty. Jabor now getting around DWCJ. All the while, Reimer now able to put an additional 0.3 of a second back to the cars battling behind him. The question is, I think DWCJ and Jabor right now really might just need to set their differences aside and try to attack. Although, you have to really think, as DRS enabled here, wow, look at did you see the reaction from DWCJ? Round the outside from Jabor, will he be able to hold on? I tell you what, that car, if you remember in the Formula 2 race in Monaco this year, that spot in the tunnel where they go coming up on the back marker and had to avoid very quickly. Tell you what, that was very reminiscent to that. But DRS enabled, and we're seeing a little bit of it here. I'm not sure if we're going to see many overtakes in towards turn 5. Oh, Owa's going to go quite wide then. I think maybe as Owa hit the wall. Well, he is missing the end plate on the right front. Is he? Yes, he is on the right front. He wouldn't have gotten that from hitting the wall just now. But wing damage definitely to the Red Bull of Owa. Making their way down Sands Avenue now, heading towards Treasure Island. Reimer does have a 2-second advantage over DWCJ, and I think this is huge, really, for DW, because in the negative direction, because if he doesn't have DRS to Reimer, he's got no one to help defend against Jabor for what will eventually be the lead of the Grand Prix, unless Reimer believes, of course, which is always possible. Reimer, maybe can he believe that he get that penalty taken off? Oh, past Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen as well. How could I forget that? Owa now to the right side. He's got DRS and the overtake made. Does Owa have wing damage? No, he doesn't. Who was I looking at? Was it Onyote? No, it was Onyote with the wing damage. Oh, and speaking of wing damage, well, he's gotten into Armanson pretty heavily then. Well, they tried to go side by side through Planet Hollywood. Couldn't quite make it happen. Making their way down Koval Lane now. Reimer does have still a 1.8-second advantage. 10 laps to go here. Reimer's got to start adding a second time back to the cars behind him if he's able to get round his penalty, which was picked up for speeding to the pit lane. Not often can you get those penalties removed unless you have, genuine evidence that you were under the speed limit according to your telemetry on the bottom of the screen. So I have seen that happen. I've had to make a call on that before in Midwest F1, where the driver's telemetry clearly showed he was under the speed limit, but the game gave him the penalty anyway. So nothing's ever out of the question. Of course, when your game is put together by EA Sports, nothing is out of the question. Merck and Owa side by side going down Sands Avenue. Merck is actually going to get the better of that one. That was a good-looking move, and it's not over yet. Side by side, maybe some contact there. Owa is going to try to switch to the left side now. Maybe some better acceleration exiting Treasure Island. Not DRS quite yet. Pontiac Bandit. Oh, and I think Komakopa's gone off. Yes, he has. Well, he's gone deep into Treasure Island. I think maybe... It doesn't appear to be missing enough front wing to bring out a virtual safety car. Sepulveda has gotten around Jabor into Planet Hollywood. Owa getting around Merck as well. Now 6th. Quite deep into the corner as well. That's going to compromise his line going through 14, 15, and 16. And now as they head up... whatever drive I said this was, in towards through Top Golf, turn 17. Wow, still side by side, heading down the pit straight. Owa and Merck still side by side. Look at this. This one started entering Harmon Avenue and only being, that battle being finished exiting turn 3. Incredible stuff there. I mean, again, this circuit, in all fairness to it, it's not the most exciting of circuits. But it has to be said, the racing on track has been phenomenal again. And that's something that I disagreed with. People complain about this layout being boring. Well, Monza's a boring layout, isn't it? And that provides some of the best racing all season. Austria is a boring layout. Some of the best racing all season. Into the corner now. Oh, Shiesty's going to miss his braking zone. Well, if he had made that move cleanly, that would have been a classic case of task failed successfully. Not there. I don't actually know if there was really enough contact to warrant really complaining about it. Shiesty definitely missed his braking zone, but I don't know if that's the contact that made Jabeur go round. That's what I'm interested in. Because the contact had happened, Jabeur had gone invisible, and then the car was sideways. I don't know what to say there. I don't know. Less than 10 laps remaining now in the Las Vegas Strip Circuit. Reimer does have a 3-second advantage over DWCJ, who does have a 2-second advantage over Sepulveda. It's now Owa to the inside of Merck going through Topgolf and across the line. Owa does take the 5th spot, at least for the time being. Merck trying to close in again, maybe to the inside. Going through the Rochelle Avenue intersection, and then heading down Koval Lane. Maybe will Merck have a look in toward Caesars Forum, turn 5. He's going to try it around the outside. Remember, this is one of the guys who started the race on the hards, has the mediums for the time being, side by side. Owa is going to get the advantage, but Merck's going to get away better on acceleration and lead them into the sphere. Nicely done for Merck to end out on top of that battle. It appears Pontiac Bandit has left the session as well as Owa. Oh, no. Okay, only 2. That's a good sign. If it's only 2... I think we can count out this being a lobby crash, because let me tell you something, what a incredibly dumb thing that would be to have a lobby crash at this stage of the Grand Prix. We're past halfway as well, I believe. I don't know if that rule applies to this league. I do know that in Midwest F1. Whereas if you're past halfway in the Grand Prix and the lobby crashes, you go back to the most recent completed lap, and then that's your order. Curveball and now Manson around the outside. Look at the pace that Aston Martin is pulling. He'll get around Owa as well. Of course, it's not too hard when when it's easy to go through your car. Curveball's going to do quite the same. Curveball may actually have another dive at Manson here. No, not quite. Reimer does set the fastest lap. And oh, by the way, he's put 4 seconds behind the DWCJ. Remember, we thought Reimer was going to be struggling a little bit to kind of get around that 10-second penalty. I still don't think he's going to come out on top, and win this Grand Prix with that penalty applied, but he's absolutely going to be, I think, staying within the top 5 here. Merck is 5 seconds behind Shiesty, who's about 1.5 seconds behind Sepulveda, who's 3.5 seconds behind DWCJ, who's 4 behind Reimer. Do the math there. I think Reimer will still walk away with a good points haul, considering as well that 2 of the quickest other drivers on track are no longer on track, that being Johnny Damon and DJE Flat. Closest battle on track currently is that of Curveball to the back end of Manson. It's 4.5 tenths of a second as they make their way through Westchester Drive and up through the Sphere corners now. The smiley face watches on and waits for the one to be sacrificed to the gods of... I don't know where I'm going with this, I don't know. I do picture in some sort of alternate universe, that smiley face does accept sacrifices. I don't know. It's got that kind of innocent but menacing look to... I don't know. I'm out of my mind. Anyways. Check on someone with their mental health struggles. No, that's not what I mean either. Check on someone who you believe is struggling with mental health. Because they might be hallucinating and they might be broadcasting your Grand Prix event as well. So, coming to the line now. Lap 20 of 25. Reimer does have a 4.2 second advantage over DWCJ. Closest battle on track is that of Curveball to Manson. I think the question is now, is how far can Reimer get ahead of his counterparts here also battling for position? Will he be able to stay in a good spot? Because realistically, it's about a net 8 seconds between Reimer and the back end of the podium. I think realistically, if he could put 2 more seconds ahead of either of the 2 drivers behind him, he'll realistically stay on the podium. I think that's got to be the goal for Reimer here. I think if he's not able to attain that would be a bit disappointing for him, really. Of course, still a couple of laps left here. Anything can happen. We do have Curveball and Manson might be battling it out here shortly. I think Curveball might be slightly conserving a little bit here. He doesn't look to be full push for the time being. For actually what I believe is going to be the first time this Grand Prix no driver is going to have DRS to another. That's a big slide from Curveball, and I think that's going to eliminate any chance he did have at attacking the Aston Martin ahead of him, and I think you can start to see already. I mean, these guys are only about 9 to 10 laps in on their hard tire stint. I think you can start to see really the lack of grip that this circuit does have. Again, it's a street circuit. It won't have as much grip as the other circuits on schedule, and I think that's what we're finding. Down the Las Vegas Strip again, 2.5 seconds for Manson, back to Jabeur as they make their way past Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, past the Bellagio Fountains as well. past the Cosmopolitan Hotel on the right and in through Planet Hollywood. Reimer now does have the fastest lap, and oh, by the way, 9.6 seconds between Reimer and the back end of the podium of Sepulveda. Reimer needs, right now, about 0.4 of a second to be able to still finish third, and we have a yellow flag somewhere along the line. I believe is it that of Coma Copa, as he hit the wall somewhere. It appears he's missing wing on the right front side, as we do have another yellow flag. Bong, it seems to have gone off. Now missing front wing on the left side of the car. And now, 6.2 back to DWCJ, 4.3 back to Sepulveda. 10.5 is the gap right now. Reimer, at this rate, will still stay on the podium. That is huge for the Mercedes driver. That is realistically a massive, massive deal for him. By the way, Jabor and R. Manson might be very close together here. Yes, they are. R. Manson within almost about a second of the Williams driver. And look at this. Reimer now. I mean, look at this. He now has 11 seconds back to Sepulveda. For the time being, Reimer will still finish second place. That is such a huge turn of events there. And again, you have to wonder, could this race been a four-way fight should Johnny Damon or DJ Flat have not found early ends to the session? Pontiac Bandit and Onyote very close here, as well as Charlie Gulf. We got a three-car battle going on for the 11th position. 11th, 12th, and 13th heading into Treasure Island. So for the time being, Reimer has cleared Sepulveda on time. He's got to put about 2.5 seconds more back to DWCJ. And next time by the way, 3 laps to go. As we do have Owa getting around Curveball into the pit lane. Onyote round Pontiac Bandit, trying the outside. Side by side they go. Didn't look as if there was any contact there, but now contact between Pontiac Bandit and Charlie Gulf as they make their way up Harmon Avenue. And Charlie Gulf to the position. Pontiac Bandit drops to 13th within the span of a couple of corners. Curveball into the pit lane. Well, yeah. The yellow flag. Oh, it looks as if the Aston Martin has gone round of R. Manson. Yes, he has. He's lost a bit of his front wing as well. Could that be? It doesn't appear it's like it's going to be any sort of safety car, or virtual safety car. That is a massive sigh of relief for Reimer. Because let me tell you something, about 5-6 laps earlier, that would have absolutely been a safety car, and Reimer's chances of winning this Grand Prix would have been out the window. By the way, he still has 3 laps to go to put about another 2 seconds back to DWCJ. That's going to be very close, by the way. So now, once again, the 3-car battle, led by Onyote, the 10th spot, 11th Charlie Gulf, 12th of Pontiac Bandit. Charlie Gulf did get quite close to the back end of Onyote that time. Manson getting overtaken by Owa. Owa Shirley's going to be into the pit lane here. Charlie Gulf does get around Onyote even without the aid of DRS. You can see how much Onyote is using his energy store as well. Although it does have DRS. Mind you, the detection point has actually been moved up quite a ways. Now look to the inside. Into the braking zone they go. Onyote, does he try to hold his way in there? No, not quite. Komakopa getting around R. Manson, who's into the pit lane. Making their way down Sands Avenue now. Reimer only about a second away from potentially taking the win here, despite having a 10-second penalty, which, by the way, I didn't think was possible. I did not think it was possible to be able to genuinely put 10 seconds to a car behind. I thought, as long as DWCJ had DRS, he was going to be able to stay within position. That's not happened. Either Reimer is lapping that much faster than the Alpine. I don't even know what the other option would be. This is ridiculous here is what it is. Coming to the line with now 2 laps to go. Let's have a look at their times. Reimer coming through Top Golf corner now. What will he pull at the line? It's going to be in the 134s. 134.009. DWCJ to the line. 134.009 is the time to beat. Bong has retired. I believe that's in the pit lane. DWCJ is nearly 2 seconds slower than Reimer per lap. At least that's the conclusion we can draw from that. Only half a second or less now separates Reimer from DWCJ from winning a Grand Prix despite having a tenner for speeding into the pit lane. He's already, I think, definitely able to stay ahead of Sepulveda. Massive, massive stuff here for Reimer. I mean, if he wins this race, which it's increasingly looking likely that he will, 10 seconds the gap back to DWCJ. Speaking to the absolute testament of to how talented this driver is. He's done something now I didn't actually believe was possible. To be able to put genuinely 10 seconds to the car behind you on track at a place where DRS is most important. Reimer has done that. And he's only got a lap to go. Merck may have a look at Shiesty here, going down the strip. As Reimer makes his way up Harmon Avenue now, up through Topgolf after that. He's 2.5 tenths of a second to the good. Looks like it may stay that way as he begins the final lap of the Grand Prix. 2 tenths of a second. Merck looks to the inside of Shiesty and looks like he's going to be able to get him even before the braking zone. Shiesty appears to be missing front wing on the left side of his Haas then. Oh, he's hit the wall again there. Going through, what is that? That'd be turn 15 at that point. Shiesty, look at this, striking back on the inside. He's come out of nowhere. I didn't expect that. But Merck now trying to strike back on the left side. He may have to look and switch again to the right side. He's done just that. Wonderful battle this to begin the final lap of the Grand Prix. Merck gets DRS and gets round Shiesty with ease. Into turn 5, Caesars Forum. Up Westchester Drive now, heading to the Sphere. It looks as if the Ferrari has gone around somewhere along the line. But down the strip for the final time is that of Reimer. Oh, by the way, 11.5 seconds ahead of DWCJ. All he needed was 10. Again, I didn't think it was possible. I really, really didn't. Once again, as Jabor getting around Shiesty, we'll have a look at there. It's actually gone through Sands Avenue. Didn't expect that. But this will absolutely speak to the testament of the talent that Reimer brings to the table each and every week. Doesn't matter what track you put him on. High downforce, low downforce, high speed, low speed. This guy is going to come out on top. Reimer coming out of Topgolf wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix even with a 10-second penalty to his name. DWCJ 11-7 and finishes 1.8 seconds behind Reimer after penalties applied. And oh, he is missing. I didn't see this at first. He is missing front wing. That I didn't initially see, but now we catch along with Charlie Gulf and Coma Copa heading into the braking zone at Planet Hollywood. Charlie Gulf will have to look to the outside, and it looks like he's going to get it. Yes, he does. Oh, Coma Copa's missing all of his front wing then. Well, we saw a yellow flag earlier on. We weren't quite sure what had happened. Pontiac Bandit actually getting around R. Manson very close here. Oh, R. Manson's going to get into the back end of Pontiac and then go around. Pontiac picking up a 3-second penalty for his troubles. But what a fantastic display from Reimer. Absolutely deserved this win tonight. Oh, by the way, for what this week was a very high-speed, low downforce track, we do the complete opposite next time out when we head to Circuit of the Americas for a sprint race for round number 3 of the Elite Tier season. For Hotspot, it has been a pleasure joining you once again, and we'll see you next week.